Stephanie and Justin from the Flack Fam, and we're in Disney World at Coronado Springs in the Gran Destino Tower.
Yeah, and we've been here for the last, well, we've been here since last Saturday, and today's what? What is today? Thursday. But we've been here in this room throughout this resort, actually, for the last 36 hours, hunkering down to kind of weather out Hurricane Ian, and we thought we would share some of our experience with you.
Yeah, so a lot of you probably already saw the Instagram story, but we basically just kind of wanted to go through what happened and what we were thinking.
What were we thinking coming here?
We wanted to come to Halloween. Well, you wanted to go to Horror Nights, and I wanted to go to Mickey's Not So Scary. But that didn't happen because we were supposed to go tonight, and all of that got canceled.
So we come during the fall a lot, and we know that there's always the possibility that things will get screwed up because of weather, right?
Yeah.
In fact, we've had a lot of cruises that have changed itineraries because of hurricanes in the past. We've been here when there were hurricanes before. For the most part, things have been okay in the past. We haven't ever been to this level of lockdown.
No.
We've never been in the direct path of a hurricane either. It's kind of, we've either been on the, you know, it's been south of us or it's been north of us, but never right in its path.
Right, and they kept thinking that this wasn't really going to hit Disney World, and in fact, even on Tuesday, the day before we had to, everything shut down, we had gone to guest services, and they had said, no, Wednesday we're going to be open. So
we tried to change our plans around just a little bit. We have already been to Epcot, and we were going to go to Epcot today on Thursday, but we were going to go to Animal Kingdom yesterday on Wednesday. Right. And so Bethany and my brother switched those reservations so that we would go to Animal Kingdom today and Epcot yesterday. It didn't matter one way or the other because in the end, everything got shut down for those 2 days. Because Friday we're supposed to be at a water park. And if you were to look out the window over here, all of Orlando is a water park right now. The lake at Gran Destino Tower is overflowing.
Right, so we're hoping that tomorrow we still get to go to the parks. They are saying that they are going to reopen them, but today everything is shut down. Yeah.
So in the past, the last time we were here during a hurricane was around Christmas time.
It's been
2019, 2018, I don't remember when. But we were actually supposed to be at Universal Studios that day, and we woke up and it looked pretty cloudy outside, and just as we were getting ready to leave our resort, we were staying on Disney property at the time, we got those tornado warnings. We thought it would be okay, but then remember the parking agent? When we went to go into the Universal parking garage, there was this sweet older woman that was like, are you sure you want to come into the parks today? There's hurricanes and tornadoes and the flu.
Which this was before COVID, so it was kind of funny.
But then once we went through City Walk, and we were blown away because there was no one in City Walk. Then we get into Universal Studios, and we got a take shelter now notification for a tornado. And so what did we do? We just ran into Starbucks.
It was perfect. We had breakfast, we waited
but we were probably,
an hour or two.
Yeah, we were probably one of 40 people in the park that day. In fact, they told us like no one was gonna come today. And we got tornado warnings throughout the day. And the thing that was most memorable to me about that time was there was no way we should have been in the parks. No way. Looking back, there was a couple of places in the park. In fact, it was in Islands of Adventure just outside of Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park area. we were standing in a foot of water, and there's just no way. And I don't think that they thought much of it, because back then it wasn't supposed to be a big deal, but then it exploded. This time around, same thing. Like Bethany was saying, no one, including the news, thought that this was going to hit Orlando, at least from what we were hearing, the way that it did. And then the hurricane changed its path and put Orlando right in its way. So the crazy thing for me was the anticipation of the storm hitting, and being prepared. There was not much communication from our hotel. In fact, we still don't know half of what's going on.
Yeah, you either had to get onto their website. If you went into My Disney Experience, it had information on there, basically letting you know that the parks were closed. But it was interesting because the website for a while said everything was open, but the My Disney Experience said things were closed. And the funny thing is it was actually an Instagram post from DFB that said everything was shut down and made us start searching.
We didn't believe Disney Food Blog, because cast members, once we had seen that post, we saw it 15 minutes after they posted it, but even cast members hadn't been told that. They were still telling us that everything was going to be open. What I'm saying is we haven't had communication on what to do, what to expect, what would be open, what the resort was going to be doing. Nothing. So when my brother's been here in the past, they brought box lunches to their room. They brought emergency packets to their room that had like water and flashlights and things like that. We've had nothing. We got a flashlight, and 3 bottles of lotion delivered to it. I don't know why 3 bottles of lotion, but we got 3 bottles of lotion and a flashlight. Apparently the hurricane was going to dry our skin. I don't know how, but because it's soaking wet out there. But that's what we got. The funny thing is we're staying club level, and even at the club, they're doing such a good job. It's also kind of frustrating that they're like, everything is fine, there's no big deal. But it was a little bit intimidating to not know if we needed to like bring food back to our room and be prepared to be locked here. It just was a little.
Yeah, I think they just were worried that people were going to panic, which, I mean, if you went down into the lobby, people were panicking. People were in line to talk to them whether they couldn't get out on their flight.
Setting context for what you're saying, this was on Tuesday. When we came back to our resort on Tuesday, the line in the lobby, which they pretty much eliminated lines with online check-in, but the line wrapped all the way down from where the check-in desks are to where the elevator is. And we don't know whether people were trying to get out of Orlando, if they were trying to extend their stays, if they were just trying to check in. We have no idea. But the next morning was when I went down and I said, the line is still there, but now it's even worse. For those of you that haven't been here, you walk in on level 2 or the lobby level, and then it drops down to a lower level, which is where the back of the resort, you can exit into the back of the resort, but the check-in is on that top level. The line of people was still there, but there were people just camping out in every inch of open space throughout the lobby and that lower level as well. And that's just Gran Destino's area. There were even more people camping out in the old lobby of Coronado Springs when we walked down there.
Right. It could have also been they closed down Fort Wilderness. So anybody that was staying in Fort Wilderness they had to move them to other hotels. So could have been a little bit of that because a lot of people had their luggage in hand.
Yeah.
So
do you know what?
We don't know.
You know what I was thinking of? So the day that we heard the hurricane had been upgraded, which was Tuesday, so we knew it was going to rain. We didn't think much of it. We thought everything would be, we thought maybe the parks would close for a day, or that it would just be rainy and miserable, but that was on Tuesday, and we went to the Magic Kingdom. Our first glimpse that it was going to be worse than we expected was that security thought no one was going to come to the parks that day.
Right.
And in fact, when we went into the parking area, security said, "You're going to have a really light day. No one's going to come."
Yeah, they were like, "Enjoy the park because nobody's going to be here."
And for the morning, nobody came.
Right. Then
but in the afternoon,
booming.
when everyone realized we're sick of sitting in our resort, they showed up. But when Bethany and I left, as we were driving out of the parking lot, there were so many people, more than I have seen before, who were towing travel trailers.
Oh, right.
And I don't know what those people did. So
there were a lot of people with trailers parked at Magic Kingdom.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
In the parking lot, more people than I've ever seen parked in that parking lot with their travel trailers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. So I don't know what they did, but
yeah.
Yes, you're right. It could have been that people were being relocated from other resorts. Whatever it was, that was crazy. And it is still crazy today. 2 days later, the line is still there. There's still people down there trying to talk to guest relations. There's still people down there trying to talk to the people at Barcelona Lounge, trying to figure out where do we get food. They're still serving box lunches. They do seem a little more organized today than they did yesterday.
Yeah, I think people aren't freaking out as much today as well. We did run to the grocery store. There was still water when we went, but it was thinning out.
There were people that we remember when people panic purchased during the pandemic, but we've never seen panic purchasing in preparation for a natural disaster other than on the news. And it was funny to see it in real life. And I shouldn't say funny. There were a lot of people impacted by it. What was funny was these people were buying as much as they could. And Bethany was like, "I don't want to over prepare." And that kind of made me panic a little bit when she was like, "Well, I don't want to buy anything. I don't want to over prepare and have all this stuff." But I think by the time we left, most of the water was gone.
Yeah, you're probably right. And
toilet paper, water,
yeah,
those two things were gone.
Yeah, and I think we've been really lucky because we are staying club level. They have had that stocked. That has not been an issue. There's
talking about water?
Been water up there. There's been other drinks. You know, they did run out of...
They did not do anything with toilet paper, you guys. She just meant the water.
They did run out of Coke Zero.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh.
You had to go with the Diet Coke.
Oh, darn it. What I did notice is a lot more people took advantage of club level.
Yes. Yeah, there were...
Even if they were staying club level, nobody was going to the club until last night. Last night was kind of actually it was yesterday afternoon at lunch. We walked into the club and it was packed. And they don't serve full meals there. I guess they kind of do for breakfast, but lunch is light hors d'oeuvres, dinner is kind of the same thing. And then they have drinks and dessert around 8 for fireworks time. But that place has been jam-packed. So maybe we ought to just really quick, because this is gonna get long.
Yeah.
Maybe we ought to say, since we started kind of being confined to our resort, what we've done and what the weather has been like. So like yesterday we woke up and that was the beginning of it, right? We thought the storm was going to hit Wednesday morning, but it slowed down and it didn't hit until last night at 10. But because we thought it was going to hit yesterday morning, we woke up and we went to breakfast, and around that time it was just windy and light rain, right?
Mm-hmm. And then kind of a few hours later, getting into the afternoon, all of a sudden it was clear.
Yep.
Clearer than it has been all week.
Yeah, we could see.
No rain.
We could see beyond like the Gaylord Palms Resort and further. It was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And then it picked up again.
Then we decided to go for a walk.
We went outside.
We decided to go for a walk and just see how things were. And it was light rain at that time, but the wind was pretty steady. We have a fountain in the lake up here, and pretty much all day the wind was blowing that fountain that direction. So I think that's northwest. And we went over to the pool. We didn't swim, but we just went over to see how it was.
But people were swimming.
There were tons of people swimming. And then they had opened up the arcade. So, and everything was free. That's what I mean by opened up. So we went into the arcade. We played some games. It was packed. When we came out of the arcade, there's restrooms right there, and we used the restrooms. And by the time we had come out, just to wash our hands, because we just played arcade games with tons and tons of people that were sheltering. By the time we came out, the rain had started and it was just blowing sideways. We started coming back, and to get to the tower from the pool area, you cross a bridge. And as we came across that bridge, the wind was blowing us over. I had my phone out, I was recording, and blew my phone out of my hand. And I fumbled and caught it, thankfully. It was blowing hard enough that the lake out here had waves, not big, like surfable waves, but waves, and they were crashing and up against the bridge. And we were soaked. Within is a 5-minute walk, and we were drenched.
Yep. Yeah.
So then what did we do? We came in and we changed because we were
soaked.
And then what did we do? We went and got snacks.
Got snacks, and was it dinner at that point? Or did we just go play games?
We just went and played games.
Yeah. So they have a whole bunch of games in the lounge, which was really nice.
We played chess.
Yes.
Bethany lost horribly.
I lost that, but I won checkers.
Checkers. We met a lot of fun people. That was good.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we came back to our room and we tried to watch TV, but service was going in and out on the TV. And the only thing that didn't seem to be going out was the weather channel. But Disney Channel, like Disney Plus, was going out.
Yeah, it would kind of pause for a second on the weather channel, and then it would go.
So we ended up binging The Office on my iPad.
Which is good.
It was good.
Always a good time.
And then we went to dinner. That was when we went to dinner.
Oh, okay.
So to dinner, we didn't, again, like I said, we had no clue what was going on here at the resort. And so we had gone upstairs to Toledo's. It was closed. We went downstairs to Barcelona Lounge. They said, we don't know what we're doing. We went down to the market in the older part of the hotel, and the line since yesterday morning came out of the market and down into the conference center, and that was just for box lunches. So we ended up going back up to the lounge, and they had some decent stuff that was filling, and so we ate there. And then we came back to our room. That's when we had the flashlight and the 3 bottles of lotion to make sure that we made it through the hurricane. And we decided right before we went to bed to go back upstairs one last time, because we had just gotten a notification that we had to shelter in place starting at 9. So we went back upstairs.
And they had little goodies up there. Yeah, going out to the lounge was really nice and really like complete opposite of anywhere else in the hotel. Like everything was calm. Everything seemed very normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to the rest of the hotel and there's these huge lines and there's people frustrated.
Crowds, yelling.
So
scared. They were probably more scared.
Right. But yeah, so most of the time we ended up just staying in the lounge, but then we did go look around and they did have signs in the clear other side of the hotel.
Down by the conference center.
Down by the conference center, yeah. That said what was open and what wasn't and what like their entertainment was, because they had opened up the convention center to doing movies.
Well, here's the thing. They had, I mean, we know why they did that. They didn't know what they were going to do. There's a conference going on right now in the hotel. And so that conference was going on all day yesterday. They must have pulled the plug at some point mid-afternoon, and that's when they decided to roll everything out. So they did end up opening Toledo's. It was a buffet, a prefixed buffet. That's not what a prefixed is. It was a set menu. It was $20 for adults, $15 for kids, and it was first come, first serve. And apparently the crowds were huge because this is a large resort, and it was the only restaurant open last night. They also waited until around 8 p.m. to decide whether or not to open the bars. And I think that there were so many angry people that they felt like they had to open the bars. So they opened Barcelona Lounge, and they opened the bar that's across from, or just outside of the conference center as well. So I think that was they just didn't know what they were going to do, so they didn't communicate it. And then when they finally did communicate it, the only way you could find out about it is if you went to these areas Bethany's talking about. And that was where the signs were posted.
Yeah. And they did have, they had water. They had cups, ice, and water, and like a lemonade sitting out in
for anybody to get
that main area as well, down by the gift shop. So, I mean, they took care of everybody. It was just a little difficult to know what actually was happening. And I would think if you were in the casitas, coming across like that, probably would have been a little nerve-wracking, not really knowing what was going on.
Not only would it be nerve-wracking not knowing what was going on, and coming over to find it out, we watched people. The winds really picked up around 8 o'clock yesterday, and we were looking out, and there was a family with a toddler. And you know, we laugh about this. We thought it was funny, and they thought it was funny, but it could have been really dangerous. But they were just letting their toddler stand in this wind, and the toddler was just blowing back and forth like didn't have control over himself. It was really sad. But like Bethany said, we went down and explored. She has video of us trying to open one of the doors, and it just was, the winds were very strong. There was water as of probably 9 o'clock last night. Water was pooling and leaking into the doors, and so they were doing everything they could to sandbag the doors as we were walking around.
Yeah. I mean, they had to keep some open,
Yep.
but most of them were sandbagged and had towels lining them.
We didn't see the towels until this morning.
Oh, was that just this morning?
Last night they just had employees posted at every door, and they were squeegeeing the water out of it.
Yeah.
But it was pouring in.
Yeah.
It was just pouring in the cracks. So we ended up coming back upstairs. Wi-Fi stayed good. Self-service kind of went in and out. The storm was supposed to hit us starting around 10:45. Then it got pushed back. At 3 a.m. we got emergency alerts talking about flash flooding. At that point in time, I looked at the weather radar and it said that the storm hadn't fully hit us yet. And so I thought that that was a little bizarre. I thought it must have slowed down even more. And then by 6 a.m., the weather radar said it had just finished passing us. And by 7, my sister-in-law said,
we survived.
She sent us a text because we were alive and it was done. They're staying at Coronado Springs, so we haven't been able to see them or we've been able to talk to them, but this morning we got up, it was pouring rain still. The wind was still pretty strong, and all day yesterday I said to Bethany, we've been watching the wind blow northwest, in the northwest direction. And I said, it will be very interesting to come out the other side of this and see the wind switch. Well, when we woke up, the wind was still blowing northwest, if it was blowing. But just within the last 2 hours, it switched. So that fountain that we were talking about is now blowing the opposite direction.
Yeah.
But we went up, we got breakfast, and then of course we had to go outside. So we spent the morning walking around outside.
Yeah, and there's some debris around. There's some pooling of water. The lake is pretty high. Some of the grass is definitely covered that was not covered.
The lake is high enough that where there is normally a 3-foot drop from the sidewalk to the lake, like that drop where the turtle jumped off the other day. It is, the lake is even with the concrete now.
Yeah, and the swimming pool was kind of sloshing out of the swimming pool.
Swimming pool is overflowed.
Yeah,
But we went over this morning, we went for a walk. Like Bethany said, there's a little bit of debris, like plants, what am I trying to say? Like palm tree prongs are blown all over the place. There's dirt all over the place. But I think the biggest issue is the flooding. In fact, the bridges are the water is touching the bridges, where normally there's quite a bit of space there.
Yeah. I mean, Orlando, there really came out fine compared to the footage that we've seen of people's
on the coast
houses. Yeah. So we just kind of wanted to let you know what we went through, what we saw, and hopefully that those people that really did have damage to their homes and have power outage and whatnot, hopefully they're doing well and that they're getting help. But really our situation was very mild.
Yeah, I mean, if the worst thing that we can complain about is that Disney didn't communicate with us well, so what, right? We were really well taken care of, and yeah. But like Bethany said, we've got friends that live here. I have employees that live here. We've checked in with most of them, and everyone seems to be okay. But the footage that we've seen further west and south is horrific, and we hope everyone's okay.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So that's it. Yeah, we just kind of wanted to let you know what happened for us during Hurricane Ian and let you know that we're safe and good, and yeah, that's it.
We're safe. Yeah. I'm bored.
Justin is bored. We're hoping to go to Volcano Bay tomorrow. We'll see.
All right.
All right. Bye.
3, 2, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm so ready. That's all you get.